Minute 53 of Iron Man. I'm Brian.
And Richard.
And this is I Love You 3000 Minutes, the podcast that time traveled back with a swarm of Antonies just so we could rewatch the entire Infinity Saga from Iron Man 1 to Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm really excited to see how many just weird ways I changed this intro over the course of these minutes. One marvelous minute at a time. And Richard, what happened?
She has the thing in hand. I forget what they say exactly at the beginning, but...
The arc reactor?
Yeah.
She has that in her hand. Anyway, what do you want me to do with this?
Okay, we go pretty much straight into that. Okay. So, Tony gets up out of the chair. He's all muscly all of a sudden. And Pepper picks up the old arc reactor, and she's like, well, what do you want me to do with this? And he's like, incinerate, destroy it, whatever, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, really? You're sure that's what you want me to do? And he's like, yeah, I've never been sentimental or nostalgic.
Yeah.
No reason to keep it around.
When I get a new kid, that's what I'm going to say about my first one.
Mm-hmm.
I only said that because I know if my daughter ever sees this, she's going to put on a stinky face and start hitting and kicking me in the most playful way. She's devilishly clever.
No one thought you were serious.
I don't know. That's a pretty fucked up thing to say. Listen, that if I get another kid, I will incinerate my current one.
If a child's right group comes after you, I'll incinerate them. So
no, he won't. If a child's right group is willing to come after me for that, they're not going to take that as a joke.
No, I will do it.
No! Pledge to the Patreon and you can get Iron Man stickers and other Avengers stickers, whatever you want. I got a whole bunch. I'll send you a big old handful, even just $1. Stop threatening people. I know I started it.
I was about to say I'm just kidding, but I'm not. So
stop. Mi amo Groot. All right.
So,
okay.
Anyways,
not sentimental.
And she agrees. And they linger a little bit. He's putting a shirt back on. He starts scolding his helper robotic arm.
Yep.
He's like, what is this? You didn't do your job. You didn't clean it up. What is all this? Is this my fault?
Yeah, what's all this stuff doing on top of my desk? That's my phone. That's a picture of me and my dad. Right there. Put all that stuff down there in the garbage. Because do you think that means the picture of his dad?
No, it means all the other stuff on the desk.
Okay.
And Pepper walks away, and then he looks at her, and we cut to Rhodey talking about these fighter jets, and they have some autonomous fighter jets, but he mentions how he prefers the instincts and reflexes of a pilot.
The human element.
Yeah, and knowledge and experience.
Which, foreshadowing, I think the human element in human resources is our biggest weak point, and we need to phase it out as quickly as possible.
In general? Human resources and companies?
No, that's an Iron Man 3 reference.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said a human element.
Mm-hmm. Is that Tony Stark that says that?
No, that's Smiley. Happy if you missed the last episode.
So that's happy. Well, anyways, that pretty much sums up the minute.
Yeah, he's talking about the instincts and being able to see the outcome beyond the obvious. And before that, I really liked between Tony and Pepper how as soon as he stops being emotionally open to her, they just had the most real moment they've ever had in their professional relationship when he says, I don't have anyone else. Then he goes from that to saying, I've been called many things, but sentimental is not one of them. And she reverts back to, is there anything else, Mr. Stark? He says, no, Miss Potts. Let me get the exact quote.
Nostalgia is not one of them. Or nostalgic is not one of them.
Will that be all, Mr. Stark? That will be all, Miss Potts. They're back to business.
Their roles, their social and professional roles.
Professional role, yeah. It's
in their lives.
He's now closed off. I am so fascinated, though, how they got the arc reactor to still light up, even with it being his skin. Because when we watched it the first time, I even scrubbed back just to see him tapping the arc reactor. And man, if that isn't so shallow of an extra thing that they put on him, that there's barely any room for a battery. So I would not be surprised if they got maybe 10 minutes of brightness out of that before they had to replace a battery through the side.
Look at that. Is it still super deep in his chest? Yeah, it is pretty deep in his chest.
It's pretty close. It's probably this much. You know those fake, what's it called? The grooves that I mentioned?
Threads.
I was so proud of myself last minute for calling them threads.
And you also mentioned the word schematic. I was proud of that, too.
I mean, that's just like baby words for me. I know schematic.
You're like, what about threads?
Threads is a more manly thing.
Is it?
Because it's construction.
Schematics are in... whatever. It doesn't matter.
But it's like half an inch thick, and it still has all the details and stuff to be shining from all these different lights. But yeah, I don't know how they did it. Did they CGI out like a wire or something? They could have
CGI in the light.
I don't think so.
Is the light bouncing off his fingers as he's tapping it?
It's definitely shining off his arm right there at the 33-second mark. But it's like, yeah, I don't know how they did it. I mean, he's got a sexy body, so I don't know where you'd hide it. In which groove would you let that wire go? He's got a six-pack. I've got a six-pack.
In the fridge.
No, that's your six-pack.
It's kind of true. Okay, so...
But yeah, I was fascinated with that. And then also, I didn't catch it last minute because it was pretty much only the last second. But most of those schematics that I was talking about, like why that big one and why that small one, are on a see-through panel of glass. Yeah, so that's why they had it there. When he stands up, it expands into the actual proper arc reactor, and then below that it says System Online right above the smaller one, which looks like it transforms into like nuclei and electrodes and stuff. So that's interesting.
Just some round stuff that we can't really tell what it is.
Well, I mean, look how
now I see
like
that.
Yeah. Huh. So that's near the beginning of the minute. But yeah, that explains a couple of the arc reactors where I was like, why? Why? So it was a computer screen. So, cool beans. Yeah, he does start harassing the Butterfingers. Hey, Butterfingers, come here.
It also implies that it messed up before, too.
Oh,
like
yeah.
It dropped something.
Yeah, probably in like a deleted scene or something, but we'll definitely see that later as well. Yeah, I just love that all his fancy cars are just in the background, just blending.
That's fancy. Oh, wow, I didn't notice that.
No, yeah, and even in the last minute, I didn't point it out, but there's a fancy car, and in the first second in the bottom right-hand corner.
I'm trying to get a better visual.
Well, the better visual for that one is right there.
Okay, it's that orange one looks exactly like a Lambo or a Ferrari or something, even though I don't think Ferrari ever made an orange.
We'll get better looks later on.
Okay, it looks like it could be a DeLorean, the steel-colored one in the front there, but...
It's not.
I want to see more, yeah.
Alright, so once we go over to the Air Force Base, and this is where I mentioned that they had him change a line. I think it'll show up in the next minute, but originally he said I would kill to be in the Air Force, but they told him they had to change it because it might bring more awareness to how the suicide rates spike for people in the military. They're much higher than normal citizens. But let's see, that first airplane landing says ED on the side. I want to see if this one in the... Yep, it says ED, but it says 006. Can't tell if it said 006 outside. So this may be the same plane that they're walking by inside that we just saw outside. Mm-hmm. Probably so for the budget, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do you think this is? Like people on their first day, they're just coming from like a school, Air Force...
It could just be...
Academy.
Air Force Academy or training or a tour of the base.
Yeah, they're all wearing the same jumpsuit and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there doesn't seem to be a big differentiation in rank.
Mm-hmm.
Although, no, I thought at the 53-second mark, I thought his lanyard might have been like stars from a general or something. But it's not. He does have the colorful lanyard, though. They all have black lanyards.
Mm-hmm. He's higher ranking. He gets the special lanyard.
Yeah, I guess it could be good for checkpoints or something. I don't know.
You actually came up with a practical reason for it. That's good.
Yeah, but then I also thought if you just stole the lanyard, if they're not checking your ID.
Right, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
You could be like the Amazing Spider-Man, where he's just like, oh, my name is Carlos or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
See. And then, you know, real Carlos or whatever the guy's name was is pulled off while Peter just stole the spot.
Right.
Anyway, anything else for this minute?
I think I'm good.
Cool beans. Remember, we're going to be eating bites of New York-style pizza with Da Bomb, the most miserable hot sauce on a hot one, on every single bite. And what will decide how many bites we take is how many ratings and reviews are on Apple Podcasts. So jump over there, whether you're listening, whether you're watching, jump over there and add a rating so that we suffer more. We're going to make a video out of it and we'll post it. The only thing is we need at least 5 ratings, and we will eat as many bites as there are ratings by the time the last minute of this movie's breakdown posts. So post-credit scene, we'll count up those ratings and reviews, and we will be like, all right, the time for suffering is now.
It's supposed to be just reviews, right?
Okay. Ratings. You can just rate it. You can
just
just put a rating on.
Did we
not
always say
type
that?
any. Yeah, we've been saying this the whole time. So you could just go over there, hit whatever amount of stars you think is honest. But if you wanted to rate it 5 stars, you could just go, boop, 5 stars, done, nothing more. But we will have a giveaway later on. So if you leave a review, add your Instagram handle so we know who to contact if we draw your name or your review. I'm good with that.
Yep.
Follow the minutes on Instagram. There's more things I could shout out, but I really just lent a lot of time to that one. So I'm going to let that stand. Instagram at I Love You 3000 Minutes.
I'm Richard.
I'm Brian.
You got an army?
We've got a podcast.